everyone, this is Dr. Anastasia Chopoulos with Scientific Healing, and on today's broadcast what I'm going to talk about is 5 tips to get well a lot faster than you normally would. And on today's broadcast I'm going to tell you a few tips on how you can heal more rapidly from whatever illness or cold or something that's going on, a broken bone, whatever it is. Whatever is going on that is not a chronic problem like cancer or diabetes or things like that, but when you've caught a cold. So, you're a busy professional, or you're a healer, or you caretake a lot of people, or even you're on the job in charge of a lot of people and you are busy helping everybody else. And in last week's email, I mentioned that rest and relaxation and sleep, these are all verbs. Even the word wait, it's a verb. And those of us that are real drivers, like I am a real success-oriented person, and I will keep driving even if I'm really tired, and I'll forget to do that resting, and I have to keep reminding myself that these are verbs and that I am really doing something. I am not just sitting around doing nothing. Right? It's really important that the body gets to recuperate. And I mentioned, I'll go through all the 5 tips, and then I'll mention the bonus tip at the end and tell you how I asked for help. And maybe it'll give you a clue too on what to do. So the first thing that I did when I got this, what happened was that I was getting chest congestion, and that wasn't nearly as bad as my throat. Basically, my voice disappeared. So last Monday, 2 Mondays ago, in the evening, it started getting a little scratchy, and by Tuesday, I had absolutely no voice. In other words, I couldn't make a sound. I had to push a lot of air just to make myself heard. And it was really difficult because I couldn't get a lot of air in my lungs. So the first thing that I did was that I asked my body, why did I get it? So because it was in this area, there's lots of ways to, if you don't know how to do muscle testing or dowsing or however you query your body to reach a subconscious, there's a really awesome journaling technique. It's called, it's something that Carl Jung talked about like over 100 years ago. Yes, it's the, like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, all those old famous psychologists. And they did this writing in which you journal with yourself. So you could journal with your anger, you could journal with your illness, you can journal with a body part, you can journal with a spirit, like you can say, who am I speaking to? And those kinds of things. And this kind of writing, this kind of journaling where you are dialoguing, and you have to do it with a pen and paper. There's something about this motion that helps draw the things from the subconscious because it becomes almost automatic. I remember when I was in school and I had to write an essay, I couldn't do it typing. I had to start it with the handwriting to help the flow of ideas come through my body, right? So this would then start me, and then I would understand, like the story would just sort of write itself, or the essay would write itself. And it is the same thing when you're asking your subconscious to do this. It's called active imagination journaling. So you are imagining what part. So you can, for me, I had to ask my throat, so why are you making it difficult? Like, why am I getting sick there? And one of the things that came out of it was I'm not speaking up for myself. So now I had to, pull myself up by the bootstraps and speak up and say what's not acceptable and what's to happen and things like that. The energy of my wishes gets carried through and I don't have to say anything. But sometimes there are cases where you just have to speak up, right? And so that's the first thing, doing journalings and asking your body parts, like whatever it is that's sick, like if you have nausea, like ask what's going on down there, like what are you not able to stomach. If your knees or your legs hurt or all your joints hurt, and just like why, what exactly is going on, like what is the pain coming from. Like knees usually means you are stopping yourself from moving forward. It's a way to keep yourself in one place. Exactly. So now, and if you know how to muscle test or dowse or use a pendulum or the sway method or whatever methods you have for querying the body, you can also ask a series of questions, just like I mentioned in the active imagination journaling, which has been around for a very long time. So that also works. And I've used both and they both work. And I happen to like the writing because I get more complete answers, right? So number 2, of course, getting plenty of sleep, that's obvious. I have a Fitbit watch and it actually measures my sleep, and I was sleeping an average of 12 hours a day. I was sleeping 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon and 9 to 10 hours at night. And sometimes I would just go to bed really early, like 7, 8 o'clock, and sleep all the way until 6 the next morning, right? So getting sleep is a good thing, but that's obvious. But a lot of times it's stagnant energy. So one way to get stagnant energy moving without you doing a lot of moving is to go get some body work done, like a massage or get one of those Far Eastern massages where they work along the energy lines of energy in your body. Like I go to a Chinese masseuse and they go up all of the meridians and they massage all my acupuncture or acupressure points. And they especially work on the head, the hands, and the feet. And it really, because everything is, your whole body is reflected there. And I tell you that some of these points were extremely painful. And in doing that, it released that stagnant energy. So that stagnant energy can help. And some of the other ways to release the stagnant energy is by doing a series of movements. Especially if you know a little yoga. Yoga is designed to move that stagnant energy out. A lot of the movements are very helpful for doing that. Some of them are really gentle and easy, like something called the cat-cow, where you get on all fours and you arch your back and you hunch your back around and move it this way. And so you're moving the whole torso and stimulating all the lines of energy along the body. And you can also move your head back and forth, up and down, rotate it, and really start getting that energy moving without doing heavy exercise, just to do that stretching and get it moving. So that's tip number 2. So tip number 3, I'm going to mention drinking a lot of water. That's detoxing. But one of the things that I did, and normally back even when I was very young, sometimes I'd be 3 weeks to 2 months, like completely congested, and even up to 3 months later, I'd still have vestiges in my chest. And this part is really disappearing very quickly. So in a matter of 2 weeks, I'm done with it. So the third thing is to take immune boosting supplements. So supplements are another way to bring energy into your body. I especially like herbal supplements like licorice root tea, right? That's a really good one, and certain antioxidants, especially if they come in some sort of herbal format. Some of them are like ashwagandha or neem or oregano oil or something like that. These are herbal based and they have a very high energy in them, and they really boost the energy of the body because you're not eating the food, you're eating the energy of the food, right? And other things that are really helpful. So licorice root is especially good as a tea because it soothes the throat. There have been times when I've had a really totally sore throat and drunk this tea, and it just helped it disappear. I went to sleep and the sore throat was gone, right? So it can really help. Other things that are really helpful to take are vitamin C, antioxidants, and liquid zinc. And the liquid zinc is called Eidon, E-I-D-O-N, liquid zinc. And I was taking 2 to 3 capsules a day. I usually take 1 capsule a day because it really helps, especially the older you get, the weaker your immune system, and it really does provide a lot of support. Right? So, and it goes without saying to eat a diet as clean as possible. And if your body doesn't want food, don't eat it. If your body wants food, eat it, but make sure that you're not eating really junky food, right? So then number 4 is what happens when we are not feeling well is that we get off center really, really, really quickly. So one way to center is, of course, centering means like your energy field will be all over the place. You know, you can manipulate it, and a lot of times when we're not feeling good, your energy wants to leave your body. And so a way to center is you imagine your energy field coming back in, so the heart of your energy field and your heart are lined up. And one way to do that is to straighten your spine up and pull your shoulders back and take some nice deep breaths, and imagine the breaths are always going all the way down to your fingers and toes. And then grounding, which is different than centering. Don't mix them up. Some people do, saying, oh no, that's grounding. And I'm going, no, grounding is you imagine a line of energy going down your spinal cord, which is the major nerve of your body and runs the most electricity through it. And you just send an imaginary line of energy down deep into the earth, and you let the excess energy, all that nervous energy, you let that drop down the grounding cord. And every time I do it, it feels like my body is going, and relaxing, right? So then there are other tricks for grounding yourself, but mainly, so I'm just going to give you a little tip. You can look this up on the internet. It's called superbrain yoga. It is where you grasp your ears and cross over so you balance left to right, and you do knee bends. It is a thing. It really helps clean up the energy, and it really helps you get centered, and it really helps you get grounded. And the last thing, the tip number 5 that I'm going to mention is to listen to a meditation, like an audio that does your energy hygiene for you. I have a free one. It's called, you can find it at scientifichealer.com/wakeupbrain. There's also another one that will be sent automatically to you if you sign up there. And this one is only about 11 minutes. And what it does is it does all the energy hygiene for you. It gets you grounded, it gets you centered, it clears everything off. The other one is a little longer. It helps also relieve some of that emotional stress and upset, like anger, grief, worry, fears, all those, they go down your grounding cord in that one. And that is really helpful. And if you are a seasoned meditator, is to meditate. And when you meditate, you can ask your body to rebuild itself. So one of the ways you can imagine is, let's say you are imagining a dent in a car, or you have somebody pounded a hole in your house, and now you have to take all those pieces out. That's just like having a damage on your body itself. And now you imagine you're taking it and you're rebuilding it piece by piece. And in that restructuring of it, you're bringing it back to a new self. And while you're restructuring it, that really helps rebuild your body wherever you have had that cold or whatever. And that particular imagination exercise, that particular one, is really good for all kinds of healing. So these are ways, if you're a seasoned meditator, it's really good. You're getting yourself into the parasympathetic state, which is the healing state of the body, and instead of the sympathetic state, which is the tear down mode. So we have two modes, the tear down and the build up. And the parasympathetic is when the adrenal glands get really calm and they stop firing with lots of cortisol and adrenaline and noradrenaline and those things that it does to stimulate, like give you a boost in the arm. It's kind of like taking a drug, boost in the arm to get you moving. Right? So instead of having them fire, which is in the tear down mode, instead you are calming them down so your body can heal. So if you're in a constant state of stress, when the adrenal glands are firing, it's a constant state of stress. That is why people that are stressed out tend to get sick a lot more often. And that's why we need to step back and step down and rest, relax, and recuperate, which are all verbs. And so my bonus tip is to ask someone for help. You can pray if that's your thing. Pray and ask for help. Ask what it is, what do I need to do to get well? And the answers will come when you're in a calm, meditative state. The other is to ask other people to send you good energy. I did that a couple of days into the illness, and I got really fast, really well immediately. I have a group of healers that I meet with 3 times a week. It's different people in each group. And they're a lot of wonderful ladies, and I'm very appreciative of how they support me as I support them, right? Because when I meet with them, I usually do a healing on them. So anyway, if you want to, when you're ready to learn more, connect with me. You can write me a message on Facebook. You can go to scientifichealer.com /contact and write me a note, or /appointment and make a phone appointment with me, and I'd be happy to speak with you. There's no obligation whatsoever. Anyway, I really appreciate you being here, and I'm just going to do a summary of the 5 tips. The first one is ask your body why it has what it has. Number 2 is to, aside from getting plenty of rest, is to get body work to move the stagnant energy, or to do certain moves to help move the energy through your body. Number 3, aside from drinking plenty of water, take some herbal supplements that will help provide higher energy for you. Tip number 4 is to ground and center yourself often, because when you're sick, your energy will go way off center and get ungrounded. And last is to either meditate or listen to a healing audio. There's a link in the writing here. It's scientifichealer.com /wakeupbrain, all one word. And the bonus tip, of course, is to ask others for help. Thank you so much for listening. Please give me some thumbs up or 5-star love, especially if you found this video useful. You can share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week, same time, same place.